A teenager in Melbourne and a teenager in Manchester can download the exact same companion chatbot. They get pulled into the same nowhere by the same sycophantic voice. The machine does not know what country it is in, and the harm reads the same in every language. For years, regulators looked away. Then, in the spring of 2026, the borders went up. 5 capitals drafted 5 different legal languages to draw a hard line around the exact same machine. Australia crossed the line first. The country's e-safety commissioner, Julie Inman-Grant, shifted the government from asking for transparency to legally compelling action. The registered age-restricted material codes target chatbots capable of sexually explicit conversations with minors, and those that encourage self-harm or eating disorders. The leverage is financial. Breaching a direction to comply carries civil penalties of up to 49.5 million Australian dollars. Faced with that exposure, companies split. Character.ai built age assurance measures and stripped the chat function for users under 18. Chubb AI made a different choice. They geo-blocked Australia and walked away. Canberra proved that an enforceable code with heavy financial penalties could deploy and bite in a matter of weeks. They gave the rest of the world a working template. In Brussels, the European Commission chose a distinct structural lever. While other governments police the specific harms done to children, Europe regulates the machine itself. Under Article 50 of the AI Act, which takes effect on August 2, 2026, a chatbot must explicitly disclose it is a machine right at the start of the conversation. The consequences are severe. Regulators gain the power to levy fines up to 15 million euros for a transparency violation. Breach the broader model rules, and that ceiling climbs to 35 million euros, or 7% of a company's worldwide annual turnover. The UK shows how messy tech regulation gets in practice. Britain's communications regulator, Ofcom, is currently hunting a structural blind spot in its own law. The Online Safety Act was built to govern services where users meet other users. Inside a companion app, the user meets only the bot. Because there is no human-to-human contact, the most intimate product on the market slips right through the cracks. This chart visualizes the fallout of that gap. Looking at recent survey data of more than 1,000 UK schoolboys, we see that 26% actually prefer a chatbot's attention to real-life relationships. While Europe aggressively targets the underlying models, the UK's struggle proves that old legal frameworks cannot capture the unique dangers of AI intimacy. Now, London is racing to amend the Crime and Policing Act to patch the law. But regulators do not actually need to wait for a bespoke AI statute to act. Italy realized this years earlier. The Italian Data Protection Authority weaponized existing privacy laws. They fined the maker of the chatbot Replika 5 million euros for processing sensitive mental health and trauma data without explicit consent or a meaningful age date to keep children out. Beijing went further. In the spring of 2026, China prohibited virtual intimacy services for minors entirely, mandating strict usage time limits and requiring parental consent for any user under the age of 14. And the response has now transcended tech regulation completely. This spring, the conversation reached the World Health Organization headquarters in Geneva. Backed by dozens of international experts, the WHO formally declared the use of generative AI in mental health to be a severe public health concern. In a matter of months, the standalone companion chatbot was cornered. It went from an unsupervised Silicon Valley app to an epidemiological threat facing a coordinated, multinational legal quarantine. 5 different jurisdictions, wielding 5 different sets of laws, all converged on the exact same target: the unsupervised, standalone companion bot that simulates intimacy. Yet there is one highly intimate AI tool regulators are not trying to ban. Instead, it is being integrated into England's National Health Service. A clinical AI company called Limbic uses the exact same underlying large language model technology as the banned bots, but its software limits its scope to handling patient intake and providing support between therapy sessions. A patient interacts with AI for initial assessment, but the system routes that data to a human clinician who makes the final decision. Evaluated across the NHS, this configuration cut assessment times, boosted attendance by 42%, and increased recovery rates by 25%. These global regulations force accountability back into the architecture of the code. The only design that maintains a license to operate in every country is the one that keeps a human in the room.